Enough. Enough is enough.
I don't want to see state troopers, but when
Five killings in 8 days, and a new chief was just recently sworn in. Here now, folks, with the New Haven community leaders, we have Malik Ramiz, a youth empowerment leader. We have Lieutenant Thaddeus Reddish from New Haven Police Dept, Attorney Michael Jefferson. So, folks, five killings, 8 days, the worst kind of violence in almost 20 years in New Haven, and most importantly, no arrests yet. What does that tell us, Mr. Jefferson?
We have a problem. It's welcome to the nightmare in Elm City. You know, Stan, we live in a violent culture. Let's start there. We see it in Hollywood. We see it on television. If there's not a war, there's a rumor of a war. So we live in a violent culture. In New Haven, you're dealing with a lot of dysfunction in the family, the absence of the black male, so that a lot of young people are running around without the proper guidance. And then you have the availability of guns. And that makes for a dangerous mix. And we have to rise to that challenge. It's a challenge for the African-American community. We have to handle that.
And with all that, you have a history of mistrust between the community and the police department. And the police are saying, listen, we need information. Community's not really communicating. Lieutenant, can you speak about that? The need for more communication for folks to speak up?
It's definitely a need for more communication. With me running New Hallville, where a lot of the violence is taking place, what I've tried to do, as well as my officers, we try to go out into the community and talk with people. You know, we're not different from anybody else. This is our job. You know, we're police officers to enforce the law. However, we are part of the community, and we can be trusted. All of us, you can't have the thoughts that we all can't be trusted. You know, the nights of the shootings, I was out there for the latest one on Dixwell Avenue. I was there. I was talking to the people in the community and asking, what happened? What happened? You know me. What happened? But people just refuse. They don't want to talk. They're afraid.
So you feel people out there do know exactly what happened. That's the frustration on your part. People have information.
That's right. People do know what's going on, but the fact is they'll tell us, yes, this is what happened, but I will not sign a statement. I cannot testify in court because they live there, and they fear that somebody's going to come back and retaliate on them.
All right, before we hear from Malik Ramiz, who mentors young black males, let's take a look and get some reactions from the streets from folks in New Haven to what they think about all this, and then have Malik respond to this.
Enough is enough.
I don't want to see state troopers, but when people are dying, I need state troopers.
We all grew up together, and now all of a sudden it seems as though we're killing each other.
Real bad trouble, it brings people together. So we're at the breaking point, but I believe this is an opportunity, a call for people to come together.
A popular preacher in New Haven, call for state troopers, more police presence. Let's talk about the reality that you can have a small army out there, but if a young man is apt to use a gun to handle a beef, you can have everyone out there. It's not going to stop it. Malik, how do you change that mentality of young men resolving their beefs by shooting first and asking questions later?
Stan, thank you for having me first and foremost. What I see is that it starts from birth. When you have young people, 13, 14, 15 years old with guns, there's something missing. The mom, the dad, there's absentee parents that are not involved in those kids' lives to address the fact that they have guns or drugs.
Fathers in particular?
Fathers in particular. And so what needs to happen is that the black male, the men in the families, whether they're uncles, grandfathers, older brothers, need to address these young men and say, listen, you're doing something wrong. Brothers in the community, church, clergy, the mosque, all have to address these kids and take responsibility for the kids. If they don't, the kids are raising themselves. The kids are basically raising themselves. The kids are telling their mother that I can take care of you. I can take care of this house with drug money and with a gun. And so if we don't get a handle of this, that's what you end up seeing the killings in New Haven, in Hartford, in Waterbury, in New Britain, all over.
Let me just say this. We're dealing with a small percentage of the population. I would say less than 0.5%. Let's be clear about that. It's a very small percentage of the population. And I think we have to respond to that. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for that population. I think one of the things we have to consider is increasing the mandatory minimum on the gun laws to 3 years. Right now, it's 1 year mandatory minimum if you're caught carrying a pistol without a permit. I think that has to be raised to 3 years. I think we have to send that message.
But are we punishing the behavior on the street and not where the gun's coming from? I mean, someone's distributing those guns, right?
That's another law enforcement tool. I was getting to that. And you definitely have to target where the guns are coming from. And you have to go after that as hard as you go after the drug dealing in the community. And I don't see enough of that. And a lot of the guns are coming from the suburban community. And and maybe Lieutenant Reddish could speak more to that.
Let's talk about race. If the guns are coming from suburban communities, the reality is, at least in New Haven, in these last few shootings, black males are the victims, and most of them are ex-offenders. So we have those two issues to deal with. How do you begin to change that dynamic? Black males, all of whom were ex-offenders who were involved as victims here. Where do you start?
Well, I think we have to get tough on that small element in our community.
How?
Well, I think you can create a violent offender registry. I like to know who's violent. I like to know so I can keep my child safe, my family safe, my loved ones safe, other children in the community safe. I think we have to get creative, innovative.
We have about 2 minutes left. Lieutenant, I want to get you involved in this. Okay. Your thoughts. There's some solutions out here that have been thrown out already, having an offenders list. But there are parents out there who know their children have guns, right, but they're afraid to turn them into the police because they don't want the child arrested. So let's talk about some solutions put out there. One, what do you do about a parent who knows their child has a gun, wants to turn the gun in, but doesn't want the kid arrested? How do you deal with that?
There's 10 district managers within the city. There's 10 lieutenants or sergeants that are running different aspects of the city. They need to reach out to those district managers, let those district managers know, listen, I have a child, I have a gun, I want to turn the gun in. There's not going to be a district manager out there who is going to take that gun in. And right now we're trying to work on another program.
So it would not be punitive, because it's very important. It would not be punitive to the child. They call the officer, they'll take the gun, and there'll be nothing punitive for the young man who has the gun. That's important.
It won't be punitive. I wouldn't want to sit on, out here on television right now and say it won't be punitive. But if the gun is turned in anonymously, then that's a gun off the street. All right?
That's the big problem. How do you figure out? People know where the guns are. They're afraid to speak. So how do you have a safe way for people to report where a gun is without getting people in trouble? That's very complicated, right? Because you don't want to guarantee people anything if indeed the person has a record or is apt to be violent. You don't want to ignore that either, right?
Again, the best way to do it is to deal with the district manager. That's the person you're going to see every single day where you live.
Second issue, as Mr. Jefferson was saying, having sort of a top 300 list of at-risk youth, identifying them and having the community work with them. Malik, this may be up your alley. What do you think about that? Identifying who are the kids or young people most apt to get into trouble and marshaling resources and services around them.
I think that's an excellent idea. I mean, anytime you can identify an issue or a problem and you can tap that problem, give that problem some medicine, and let the entire body of the community understand where that problem may be, you're going to start seeing some changes.
I've got to cut you right here. The other issue is the whole mentality of snitches get stitches. How do you deal with witnesses coming forward and feeling safe? 5 seconds, see if you have a quick response to what can we put in place in 5 seconds for witnesses to feel comfortable coming forward and talking to police without having retribution.
You have to come forward. You have to have that trust within the officers you're dealing with. You've got to come forward. You've got to let the police department know what you know. Because if we don't know, we can't stop it.
And we've got to recognize the ignorance of that, Stan.
We're going to have you guys back. We're out of time. We're going to have you back. This issue is not going away. When we return, folks, we'll talk to one of the country's top sports columnists. He will tell you why he left a prestigious job at Sports Illustrated to write novels. Don't go away.